Jeremy Whiston shared the dream. The 18-year-old was found hanged in his bedroom last October. He was, his parents say, devastated after being released from Manchester City Academy.
My name is James Fahmy. I'm 20 years of age. I used to play for QPR Academy from the age of 6 to 19, and now I'm at Harvard University studying English and a liberal arts degree. So I've been playing for QPR since the age of 6. I have small memories about being scouted. Just like any other kid, I was playing football, enjoying it. And as I became a little bit older, I started to take it more seriously. And then signed my first contract at the age of 9. I suppose when you're so young, you don't think about it too much. But the feeling of signing your first contract when you get the picture of you signing the paper was something that I'll definitely remember. At the age of 9, we sign every year until the age of 14. We sign a 2-year contract. After that, at the age of 16, you'll sign your scholarship, another 2-year contract, and then from there, it depends. You can begin negotiating and changing the length. In my age group, there was Armando Broja playing for Chelsea at the time, Caleb Watts out at Southampton, another great talent. Used to play against Fabio Carvalho for Fulham. But I suppose the big name that stands out would be Harvey Elliott, who's now at Liverpool. Playing with Harvey Elliott from a young age, he was at QPR. He was a lot smaller than everybody. He would always play a year or 2 years above, so he would play with me and my team, and also in the year above me. He was really technically talented, but I suppose a lot of people doubted him for his size, and his trajectory now is unbelievable to see. He's gone on worked extremely hard at his game, and now he's going on to achieve great things. At the time when everybody was signing their scholarships, I decided to take a slightly different route, and while I was offered my scholarship, I decided to take a schoolboy scholarship instead, which meant that I could still attend school and take my A-levels. That was a difficult decision in itself, but I decided to take that step in order to have a plan B just in case football didn't work out for me in the long term. But I always had the aspirations to become a footballer, but it was always nice to know that I had that security just in case it didn't work out. During the years of my scholarship, it was always quite challenging because I had to balance my school with playing football, doing the same hours as everybody else, making a lot of sacrifices to make sure that I was keeping on top of my football whilst keeping on top of my grades, keeping my grades high, making sure I was performing well in the classroom and on the pitch. I had a broad mindset of not just a 2-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and I started to look into American universities as a plan B in case I didn't get my professional contract with QPR. What I started to do was look at success stories beyond me, and there were relatively few cases of players that had been making it into the first team across all levels. The best thing for me about being in the academy system from such a young age is I exposed myself to so many different players all up and down the country. And the fact that as I was getting older, it was tough for me to see a lot of people breaking through in what I deemed to be successful as a footballer. That made me take a step back and think, well, what if I get released at the age of 20? Even if it's not at the age of 20, what if it's after I have my first year as a pro, I'm only on a 1-year contract, I'm only on a 2-year contract. It was all so short term for me that I decided to take a step back and look at where I wanted to be in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time. And that for me was quite a pivotal breaking point for me, where I figured I need to explore other options just in case football doesn't work out for me. Pure strike of luck. A Harvard scout came to QPR's training ground. He was visiting England for a few weeks. Although it was a big strike of luck, my preparation beforehand had led me to take full advantage of the opportunity. So when I managed to start speaking to him, he informed me that it would be worthwhile me looking into it. And a couple of days later, I was speaking on the phone with him, and I initially was thinking that it would be great to ask him some questions about what it's like to go to America, what it's like for American universities, just gain that exposure and that first-hand insight. And he said to me, if you do everything right, then you have a 95% chance of coming to Harvard. And I remember looking at my parents and my jaw dropped while I was on the phone, and they had no clue what was going on. But for me, that moment really sticks out as the time where I really realized I would be able to make it to such a top-level institution. And although I always had one eye on playing football and going to America, when I received that phone call, my impetus really changed, and I decided to try and take the route to America. I managed to achieve all A's and A stars in my GCSEs. For A levels, I achieved an A star in English literature, a B plus in history, and then a distinction star in my BTEC grade and an A star in my EP2. I got into Harvard about 3 months before our contracts were being given out. And I remember going into my meeting with my coaches. You sit at the table. I had my mum with me, and across the table I had my manager, the strength and conditioning coaches, the psychiatrist, the head of academy all sat opposite me. And going into the room, I knew that I was going to tell them that I wouldn't be pursuing my contract. And I remember feeling so nervous, having to break the news that I wouldn't be trying to go any further with the club. And the second I let out the information, it was such a relief to see all the coaches were so happy for me. There was no pressure that I should be staying on, or they really understood that this was the right decision for me, and that this was such a great opportunity that I could pursue so many different things, so many other opportunities. And their reaction, telling me how proud they were that I could really be an inspiration for other people, was such a relieving moment. When I had accepted the decision to go to Harvard, I was quite nervous to tell some of my teammates out of the way they would react. And when I told them, it was such an amazing feeling because they were all so proud. A lot of the boys would say things like, going to Harvard, isn't that where suits is? Are you going to be one of those people? And they were really supportive of me, so that was a great feeling to share with them.
The breaking news, stay at home. That is the order tonight from 4 state governors as the coronavirus pandemic spreads.
COVID hit, and it meant that I couldn't travel over to America. Like a massive step backwards. I wasn't going to be able to develop in the way I wanted to. While all my close friends from school, maybe they went off to university, and everybody I'd been playing football with at the academy, they were still pushing themselves in the academy, trying to get that under-23s call up, trying to push themselves to the first team. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I had no place to go really. I'd been building up to this moment for so long, and that had all of a sudden gone. I had to do my first year at Harvard online, remotely from my house, which was extremely tough, especially with the restrictions in place. Thankfully, QPR let me train with the club for that whole first year, which really meant a lot to me because I know a lot of young footballers, as soon as they leave a club, the relationship can be a little bit strenuous. Going over to play college football in America, or college soccer, as the Americans would say, I was very surprised at the level. I thought coming from a place like QPR, it would put me in such great stead to go over there and really dominate and show my abilities. And also because I suppose the academy level in England is so high, going over to college in America, you think it would almost be a step down. However, when I got out there, everybody in my class had played international football at youth level. We had a guy playing at the Under-20 World Cup for New Zealand. We had another player who played for Monaco and played for Italy at youth World Cups and European Championships. And everybody was so astounded at the level I played for at QPR and coming over from England. I think that's just because not a lot of people choose to take that decision, but the level over in America had such high quality. So that was something that really surprised me, and the level over there still has allowed me to improve as a football player. And every day training with good quality players, it proved to me that I made the right decision, because I can carry on continuing as a football player. I can explore perhaps the potential to be drafted. I suppose the best example of that is Jack Harrison at Leeds. He took the American college route and then went to New York City and has now been playing in the Premier League with Leeds. However, if football doesn't work out for me, I'm at such a great place like Harvard. I have the support network and all the social connections I've made that will help me out in other career opportunities. The message that I would want to give to anybody in the academy system would be to think to yourself, what defines success for you? If your only way is to play Premier League or Championship level and you think it's either that or nothing, then I would advise that you take a step back and look at a broader picture and see what other options there are out there. I've seen players at the age of 16, 17, 18, 19 get their first team debuts, and they receive a lot of attention at the time. They'll post it on their Instagram story, get a lot of reposts, and everybody wants to be that person for a day. But a lot of the time that clout that you get is very transitory, and a lot of people feel like they're not moving at the same pace as other people's. But I've also seen situations where those exact people, by the time they're 22, 23, they're no longer in an academy. So don't take what everybody is doing around you as a determinant for success. It's just what you need to achieve, and if you keep working day by day, then that will hopefully get you to where you want to be. And it's always good to have another option in case that doesn't work out for you.